quorum, so we're not going to be able to have an official meeting, but we're just going to run through the meeting agenda, and this won't be taking notes or be able to make any decisions on anything. We only had one thing on the agenda item anyway, so it'll be a good time. Just not official good time. So can everybody stand for the pledge?
Oh, we got a flag.
Mm-hmm.
Ready, begin. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, you guys got a full house.
Yeah, go through our agenda like we normally would. This is our public comment section, so if anybody has anything that they would like to bring up.
Yes, my name is Don Simmons, and I haven't been here for 4 years. I got COVID and I had cancer. I'm back.
All right.
Welcome back.
We started paying this 1% sales tax extra. Have we gotten any benefits?
Yes, sir.
That's what I'd like to know.
We're getting 2 new DA investigators assigned up here to Roseman, and the sheriff's department's been getting some, I think, equipment, and that money's been going to good use. The library hours have been expanded. We're starting to see some good things come from that money. So I think the code enforcement, did you guys get some new vehicles and stuff like that out of it?
We did.
Perfect. So it's going to good use.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because we're paying it.
Perfect. And then we have one of our 6 people running for supervisor, Dale.
Good evening. My name is Dale Cisneros. I'm running for supervisor in District 2, and glad to be here tonight to meet you all. And just tell you a little about myself. I've got 20 years of experience in business management and almost all levels of corporate management, and including finance, construction, and as a controller. And there's a lot of things we need to fix in Kern County. And I'm an America First candidate, proud American, and I look forward to this race, and I look forward to meeting with each of you, and I'll be available here to talk with you, have any questions, concerns, ideas.
Are you a Roseman resident?
Pardon?
Are you a Roseman resident?
I'm in Tehachapi,
Okay.
but Kern County resident, definitely. Yeah, all my life, 55 years. And my beautiful wife, Laura Cisneros, is here. She is a trustee on the Kern Board of Education. And we're discovering a lot, and we're making some really good changes there. So I'm proud of her for doing that. And thank you again for having me here tonight. And again, I'll be available for any questions and comments, and I appreciate the interaction. So thank you.
Sergeant Jones.
Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Sergeant Jones. I know. So basically, I'm going to go over the stats for August. We don't have them current right now for this month, but it's basically the same stuff that we did in Roseman every time. Peace disturbances were at 18. I'm just going to go over the high ones. Burglary alarms are still up, the same, 30, 35. Check the welfares, which is typically people that need help or are in some kind of mental status or mental thing going on, is 43. GTAs have actually went down from last month. They're only at 14 now. I think last month, before August was, I want to say they were like 23, 24. Wow. So it went down a little bit. And I think that had a little bit to do with the op that we did last month here in Roseman. We had 27 arrests on that op when we had our guys out here. Arrests this month for our guys current to the 18th, which was yesterday. We have 19 arrests for this month, which is probably about average. Usually we have about 30, between 30 and 40 arrests in Roseman. I am going to have my guys try to do more ops here with homeless and people running around and acting crazy, obviously. It does, for at least for a little while, keeps the crime down for a little while, especially when they see 10, 12 cars here in Roseman just stopping cars, taking people to jail. It does keep the crime down for a couple of weeks or at least a month. So you'll see that probably start trending up again, because we don't have, obviously we're still doing the whole county, East County, So we try to get down here to Roseman as much as possible. But we also have Mojave and Tehachapi to deal with. And then, like you said, sir, that Measure K money is also going to good use. We are starting the Roseman sub. We do have the contractor for that. I don't know when they'll start doing digging on it, and so I can actually start doing it, but it's going to be out there by the fire station on 35th. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Any word on the temp station? When you guys be moving?
I can go into all that.
Okay,
got all
perfect,
that.
perfect.
All right.
All right, thank you,
Yeah.
sir. And then, Carlo, from something like, man of the hour.
Let me see if I got this right. I'm not ready. Good evening, all. My name is Carlo Basile. I represent Assemblyman Tom Lackey with Assembly District 34. That's the area that we're here. It actually is a pretty good area. It goes all the way, it goes past Baker, it goes past Zig Zig. It goes up to the state frontier, state border along the 15th. And it goes way down south, it goes way over to 29 Palms. And in all this area, we are happy to come out and see as many of our residents and all town councils as we can, and we're very happy here. I've got some good news. I know the assembly is closed. That's the good news. They finished their session on the last day of August. They are being called back together for another special session to deal with gasoline and prices. And there's a big, ideas are getting thrown around. Assemblyman Lackey came up with an idea for a bill. He actually proposed it. Somebody seconded it. One of your Rogers Rules of Order. You will understand that now they have to treat it. And it's to roll back all fuel taxes for a year.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to lower the price right away, let's do that. Of course, it might not go anywhere in Sacramento, but for the meantime, it's worth discussing. And at least they're aware that we know that it would be, if this is the problem, this is a fix. Pretty quick fix. And so that's it for the legislature. Governor still has a few more days to sign bills, and we don't know what all the bills are that he's going to sign, or maybe that he's going to veto. If you have any questions, please call our office over at Palmdale, 661-267-7636, and or take my card and email me for comments, for ideas. Heck, this is the time of year when if you have an idea for a great law, like a great bill, like, hey, we ought to have 5 more lanes going down 14 south to get everybody out of here. Let's write it now, okay? I probably won't work, probably won't pass, but if you write it, the assemblyman will be sure. He and his legislative staff will look it over. And we've had a couple of bills. I think it's like at least one bill a year gets written by residents and turned in, and the assemblyman presents it. So, keep your thoughts open and whatever your desire go on. Now, the biggest news of the state, I know this is like the longest speech I told you. What's quite ready. The longest thing in this year is a report on the wildfires. The reason why I report on the wildfires, why they're of interest to me, I live in the rural area. This is, even though we're kind of urbanized, we're still surrounded by a lot of open ground, and a wildfire could really hurt us. So it was good to see that the fire in San Bernardino counties, LA County, there were 3 fires, I think, Bridge, Lane, and Line, and something else. Anyway, the first one, the bridge fire is 49% contained, and it's burned 55,000 acres, which is quite a bit of land. It's not the biggest one yet, but it's as big as anything in my neighborhood. I remember we had one that was like 10,000 acres in my neck of the woods, and it was amazing. It took forever. It took a week for it to die down. This one, I'm surprised it's under control. There's also news that the Insurance Commissioner is acting quickly to provide coverage for the wildfire survivors. There is a bill called SB 872 that requires insurance companies to pay for benefits to keep you, if you're kicked out of your house or if your house is burned down. I think it's if your house is burned down, it will provide benefits. So it's good to know that this stuff is available. I have paperwork here if anybody would like to see it later. That's about the report. And of course, there's like, you've got to read the fine print, keep the receipts for all these buildings. So that's the fine print. Anyway, the legislation, the fire, that's about it for us. You might see the assemblyman at some of the parades. I'm not quite sure if he's coming to the Rosemont parade.
He had a dual.
Yeah, he had another, you know. Hey, we tried. But I think he's coming next month.
Next month.
To the Rosemont Municipal Advisory Council. And so to speak. I know, but I was trying to make it sound. I like. Have I ever told you I'm a good baseball player? Anyway, thank you very much for listening.
Aaron, probably the hardest working woman in Kern County.
Oh, here it is. Right on. My name is Karen Sanders. I'm the East Kern representative for District 2 Board of Supervisors. If I've never met you before, hello. A lot of you I've emailed with or spoken with on the phone. I'm here to cheerlead for Public Works and code compliance, and I didn't even know you guys were going to be here. But I'm here to cheerlead for them because a few weeks ago, a local resident, Rosemont resident, said, I want to take you around and show you things that are going on with properties and cars and this, that, and the other. And I spent 3.5 hours driving around Rosemont, and I submitted to CHP 50 vehicles that were either not registered, expired registration. Well, I don't know that any were abandoned. They were on public streets, cars, trucks, trailers, that kind of thing. I submitted that to CHP, and I submitted it to their tip line. I don't know what the results will be from that, but I did speak to the public information officer, Aaron Maurer, and he said that they have one person who's responsible for all of those. So we'll see. Like I said, they're not going to call me and tell me what's happening with it. On the other hand, when I submit stuff to Public Works, we get a report back that tells us what they've done. And we just got a report back on, well, today's Thursday, that was yesterday. On Diamond Street here in Rosemont, we had requested street sweeping. They did it. I hope it looks good.
I saw it, it looks great.
Okay, I hope it looks good. Then at Leopard Court and Puma Avenue, there were overhanging branches on sidewalk that the sidewalks are supposed to be clear. I think the branches can only be like 12 or 13 feet, something like that. They have been sent letters have been sent to the owners for them to mitigate that. Not sure what's going on with that, but the letter's been sent, and that's important. Because you have to give people time to correct deficiencies, and that's the way that we do it. There have been actually several instances where I've sent information, thanks to Joel and several other people here in Rosemont, regarding homeless encampments. Had a conversation with Jacob with code compliance, and it's playing whack-a-mole, because they can ask these people to leave, they can clean up the area, and then 2 days later they're just 3 blocks away. So it's a deeper issue than just Public Works and code compliance going in and cleaning things up. It's a constant, trying to stay on top of it. It's constant. And then I told you about the gentleman that I spent 3.5 hours with, driving around looking at different issues. And I have a list of 8 properties where there was trees overhanging the sidewalk, overgrown properties, debris in the gutter, that kind of thing. And it was all referred to code compliance for investigation. And I can tell you that code compliance has investigated or is in the process of investigating. So that was quite a bit of stuff that happens with the county, and Public Works and code compliance are hard at work, just like our sheriff's department is. So other than that, you all know there's 6 candidates on the ballot for the District 2 Board of Supervisor seat. Glad that Dale is here. I won't steal Joel's thunder about a possible political forum. you know, a candidate forum for that. So anyway, if you see something, let me know, and I'll pass it along to the appropriate department in the county. My job is to connect the dots and, you know, facilitate things to get done. So anyway, am I done? I'm gonna sit down.
All right, Jack, Chamber.
I don't have much. We did have our monthly luncheon today. It was awesome as usual. Conversations we have is fantastic. I'd love to get you there when month comes up. And let you be our guest speaker and talk about things.
Shoot me a text, sir.
I will. And, this Saturday, 21st? Yeah, 21st is our Armed Forces Day Parade. And September Festival, we will not be having it at the park. We probably won't be crossing Rosen Boulevard again. It's just, there's too many changes to Rosen Boulevard, and it's too difficult for CHP and sheriffs to shut that down with all the traffic that we have these days. So in the future, we're probably gonna keep it within the Diamond Street area. So this year, it will be lining up here at Hummer Hall. And then Tim and a bunch of other helpers will help everybody get their numbers and where they're to line up at. We're gonna start at 7 a.m. with lineup. And then at 10 a.m. we'll be having the parade start from Orange Street, Diamond Street, Orange and Diamond. It'll go up to Locust, it'll come back around, and they can tear down Homo Hall. After that, we will be shutting down the street from Locust to Poplar, where we'll have vendors, music, all kinds of cool stuff. And that'll go on until 4 p.m. on Saturday. So can make it. I know Dell's in the parade. I'm glad to see the candidates getting the parade. We got 2-3 of them that'll be participating. That's a good deal. And that's about it. Beyond that, as soon as we get done with the September Fest, we're going to start promoting the Christmas parade, Sands Village. As you know, last year we gave away toys, food, clothing. And this year we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to have pre-registration to make sure that all the Roseman residents has first dibs. And it also gives us an ideal count of certain age groups of gifts to buy and what kind of dollars we're going to need for gifts and stuff. Usually the food and clothing is being donated by other groups. And last year we had people from all over the county coming up, and it's just a big horde fest. So we ran out like that. And we had about, what, $8,000-9,000 in toys?
Yeah, probably about 6 more. We'd like to have more like 10.
Yeah, we're trying, our goal this year is 10,000 for toys. But we're gonna pre-register all the Roseman residents and families. And then that way they are first in line. They'll be given the time to get their toys and food and gifts, things of that nature. And then in the evening, we'll reopen it up for anybody that wasn't pre-registered, and then we'll just give away what's left after that. So last year was a huge success. We hope to at least do that. This year will be my last year coordinating any activities for the chamber. I'll be selling my house next year. I'm moving up north, Clear Lake. Live next to my daughter and granddaughters. Fish. So, but after Christmas, I'm gonna do what I can to kind of pass the torch over to whoever's gonna be taking over the chamber. Make sure they know the right procedures and processes, and so they know how to properly address you guys.
Harass us?
Harass us. Yeah. Well, at least we invite you over to harass us.
I definitely not forgot.
Yeah, and I do want to thank Lieutenant and they just been carte blanche with us. They really worked with us within their abilities, and same with Lieutenant Pagano. They've all just been fantastic with the chamber helping out. So really appreciate everything you guys do.
Thanks, really appreciate your support.
All right, so Jack is still up there, falls under his purview.
Yes.
I was talking with Gene and Jack at our chamber meeting today, and it looks like I'm gonna send out some dates to all the candidates, and they've been gracious enough to host a candidate forums over at Guido, so we just gotta get the date set in, and Guido said we can have that big back room back there, and there'll be some good food and get to meet all the candidates.
Let
out
the
here.
debate begin.
Alright, so that ends our, what do we have about Kern County code compliance?
Jacob Clayton, Supervisor of Code Compliance. I brought with me one of the officers, my office service specialist, Shanice. I think you guys know the spiel, you know what we do. It's more or less showing up to, give you some good information about the resources we've sent out in this community, other places that may not have had it. We have additional resources now, best year yet, best year to come, in my opinion, with, like you said, vehicles, funding, officers. We're down a couple right now, we're looking to hire some more. So you'll have better resources out here in the outlying areas. Like I was telling Karen, we have Mike Pitchford, he's the one that countywide really for homeless. It is a game of whack-a-mole, like she's saying, we're chasing them around. They pop up everywhere, they do have rights, just like everybody else. So sometimes it may take a little bit to take care of the problem and clean it up, but we try to make it an inconvenience for anybody that, tries to camp out on several different properties or hop from property to property. That's the tool we have right now. Things change. I'm sure you're all familiar with, well, I would think you'd be familiar with the Grant Pass ruling. The laws change as far as homeless. Notice what you're allowed to take, what you're not. There's two different sides to code compliance. There's a public right-of-way side, and then there's private property side, which is us. So if you do have anything in public right-of-way, county property, county-owned property, if you don't know who to contact us. We're on the same team. We'll refer it over to that department. Other than that, just any questions you may have.
Now, Jacob, now, if they're on private property, I know you gotta be careful, but let's say a homeowner is doing his best to keep his property clean, keep the people up. Is there any assistance for them, so it's not coming out of their pocket and,
There is, so with ARPA funding, so it's ARPA reimbursed through the American Rescue Plan Act. We pull ARPA funding to help certain communities. The idea of that was to help a property owner get a jump start. If they come across a problem, we'll help them resolve it. That property owner can maintain from there on out. Doesn't always work like that. So we do several courtesy cleanups. It's funded through ARPA. So there is resources out there. If it's a property that you own, vacant lot, we have to ask for permission to enter. Vacant abandoned properties, we have to get a warrant to enter. We can't just walk on private property at any given time. So there's a bunch of different scenarios and how quickly we can react. We always like to say 3 to 7 days, depending on the scenario, we can usually respond to a homeless complaint on private property.
now, who's our officer out here now?
Right now, who's the primary officer? Rathman. Oh, Jacob Rathman.
Okay.
And like I said, he makes passes through all of Kern County. He does spend a lot of time in Oildale, East Side, more so now in Lamont, because Lamont is requiring a little bit. And if that's what you guys need out here, then we'll carve off some time to send him out here.
One of my goals, and I'm hoping to see it before I die out here, Dale, ears open on this one, is I'd love to see a government center in Hatchby, where
Yes.
you guys work out of the East Kern, where we have people assigned out of here.
Be closer out here.
So we have somebody, we have a building with public health, you guys, that are strictly, maybe some residents that are hired, that live out here, are invested in the community.
For sure.
Love to see that.
And with Officer Rathbun, he spends
Oh,
most
no,
of his time.
he's good.
He spends most of his time out here, so if there's something that we need to jump on, I'll call any one of these guys, if they're available, we send them out. So we're really good and responsive.
One question I have, I see, like we've had some graffiti on one side of the buildings for like 6 months. Does that have to be called in, or can you guys?
They have a graffiti, you can phone it into us, but there's graffiti removal.
But with driving around, is it, if nobody calls it in, does it get handled, or?
We're proactive to a certain extent on some things, but we get backlogged pretty quick if we addressed everything we saw, obviously. So we do, depending on health and safety issues. Graffiti for us, I don't know that you guys have ever.
I thought that was Roseland Community Services.
Say that again?
Roseland Community Services does the graffiti.
It went out to, I don't have the information with me, but there is
That's a public street.
graffiti off Well, they'll come out and they'll do it for free. So we can get that information out to you guys too. When you phone it in, they'll come out and take care of it.
So I'm gonna date myself here. I'm old school. I'm a firm believer in the broken window theory. If we let the little things go, they just multiply and get worse. So that's why, yeah, like I said.
No, I 100% agree with you. It's just not something that we, but we take complaints for it all the time, for anything.
No, like I said, no. I forget who we met with. And code compliance up.
Mr. Rojas.
Rod, my only complaint, I was talking to him, is hitting financially. If you guys can prove you guys do a great job picking up the trash and all that, but I was telling him, all we're doing is rewarding those people. If we can prove it's them, the county should go after them and hit them with the biggest fine as they can. But I've been working on getting that policy changed within the county. I said, without that financial incentive, I said, we're not going to solve the problem. And I see the reports every month of all the tonnage that is still being dumped every month. And until we, confiscate a truck or, hit them with a couple $1,000 fine, I just don't see it stopping.
Well, that is difficult. At one time, we would try to go after, say we found a couple pieces of mail. It's hard to stick that to somebody. If I decide to dig through my neighbor's trash and then take what I want, dump his mail somewhere, we can't go after my neighbor. You know what I mean? So it is difficult. We've caught people, but it's difficult to catch them.
But no, you guys, like I said, you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Responding. That was my only concern with him is if we can catch him and prove it's him, we need to start hitting him with the financial incentives to make him stop. And then word will get around pretty quick. And then being on this side of this close to LA County where they have to pay enormous fees to dump, we get a lot of people from the other county coming over here too. So. All right.
Any more questions?
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lieutenant Lackey.
All right, I'm here to take everyone's complaints. Can I just sit next to you?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, thank you for having me. I know it's been a while since I've been at the last meeting, but I just want to catch up on some of the business and answer some questions that were thrown out. As far as the Roseman substation, there has been a plan in the works to get a temporary substation. We're leasing a building off of Diamond or Desert?
Diamond and Rosen Boulevard.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And as of the beginning of this month, we had just settled the issue with the insurance carriers, and we're currently waiting on a second quote for an improvement to that building. One of the things we have to do before we can move into that building is make sure that we have secured parking. There's some ADA compliance requirements, stuff like that. While we are occupying that building, there will be a sergeant there, deputies there, a clerk there, at least one district attorney employee there. And as we are in there, we are still waiting for the Roseman substation off of 35th Street to be completed. The RFP process for that is done, the bids are done. Now it's just a matter of that building being built by a contractor. Someone mentioned Measure K. I do want to throw out that we are seeing daily impacts from the benefits of Measure K. Today I was at headquarters. We're still running 3 academies per year, 3 full academies per year. Before Measure K, we would run an academy full of students because hardly anyone wanted to work in Kern County, and those that would graduate would go to work for other agencies, which was absolutely disgusting and terrible and embarrassing for this county. I want to remind you guys that 2 years ago, in December, we had a deputy get shot in the head right down the street, right? And that was when we were at the very bottom of our staffing. Measure K passed. Since then, we've hired, I'm just going to throw it off the top of my head, at least 5 more deputies just for the area. I think about 5 deputies makes a big difference. And it takes a lot of money, but I'm proud to say that the deputies that we've hired, at least 2, or I will say 3 of the best deputies we've hired in the last year all came from Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, either the Lancaster station or the Palmdale station, and they now work up here. And they live in this community, right? That was a big goal for Measure K. So we are seeing that. We're still seeing improvements from them. We're not going to be able to rebuild our entire force in a year or two. It'll take a while. That's just the way attrition works. Another thing with Measure K, one of my issues as a manager was I was worried about being able to staff our jail in Mojave and keep that thing running. Fortunately, we still have that jail, we still have the staffing. So we're going in the right direction. Karen had mentioned something about a bunch of abandoned vehicles.
Not abandoned.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Not
My bad.
registered or expired registration.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize to me, I was unaware of that project going on with the Highway Patrol. I am a member of the Department of Justice Community-Oriented Policing Committee with the Sheriff's Office. One of my responsibilities is to get POT projects to address certain issues in the community that affect quality of life. So you said you passed that information to Officer
I sent it to the CHP
Aaron?
tip line.
Okay.
Aaron Maurer is the public information officer, and
Okay, I'll get with Aaron later and we'll follow up on that. A month ago, we did a big community policing project here in Roseman where we unleashed a ton of deputies for one weekend in Roseman just to clean house. And I know Sergeant Jones mentioned putting 17 people in jail. I just want to throw out that putting someone in jail in 2024 in California is a huge feat, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're talking hours of taking a deputy off the street. However, it'll take a while for us to go through the data and see what the impact on the community was with that POT project. If it was successful, we'll do another one similar to it. I am aware of a flyer that was circulating in the area regarding a sexual violent predator. I want to be very careful about that. When a sex offender is sentenced, once they are done with their sentence, they are released to the community in which they were arrested. Right? This individual has served his time and then some. So he will be released from prison. And because the way the laws work, they will be released to the county that they were arrested and convicted in. It's up to this community on how you voice that. You can send your concerns to the email address, the svp@kernda.org. I just confirmed that email address is working. There's also a court hearing coming up, and I confirmed that comments will be accepted at hearing. But I want you to consider this, and it's based on my experience. I spent 5 years in detectives before I became a law enforcement manager, and I worked in sex crimes. It's one thing to have a registered sex offender with a known address, and it's a completely different thing to have a registered sex offender with no known address. A registered sex offender where you know where he lives, where law enforcement knows where he lives, is much easier to monitor. That's just something to take into consideration. That's a touchy subject. I just want people to try to remove emotions from that when they think about that. All right.
You got a question?
I was wondering, since he's going to be released in Rosemont, was he arrested here in Rosemont?
I don't know. I have no idea. And here's the thing, that's something that you'll have to email the district attorney's office and ask about. I have no idea.
Okay, thank you.
With that said, there were a couple other things I wanted to touch on. I totally lost bases. Oh, homelessness. So 2 incidents happened recently. One of them really absolutely bothers me, so I'm going to try to not get worked up about it. It's my understanding we had an assault with a deadly weapon happen right outside that front door recently, right?
Yeah.
There was a homeless person out there, I apologize, an unhoused person out there, and someone told him to clean the mess up, and the guy pulled out a black powder gun from Pirates of the Caribbean and shot at him, right? And I'm not making that up. It was a black powder gun. But Pirates of the Caribbean part's a little bit strange. But yeah, that's completely unacceptable. But with that said, the reality of the matter is homelessness is not something that can be fixed overnight. We can't arrest our way out of it. Code compliance can't chase those people forever and ever and ever and ever. This is a bigger problem that I don't know what the answer
New government.
is. Say what now?
New government.
I'll leave that to the assemblyman that I'm not related to. But I was thinking about that the other day. You know, drugs used to be illegal at one time, and we used to be able to take people to jail for that.
Yeah.
But it's my understanding Assemblyman Lackey was not in favor of Prop 47
No,
or any of that
he's,
stuff.
yeah.
And I'm not sure if you're aware, this Assemblyman Lackey used to be our area sergeant too, way back in the day.
For sheriff?
For the highway patrol. He didn't score high enough on the entrance exam to get hired by the sheriff.
Be careful,
I see him at a bunch of the meetings, and he just barely says hi. He's a nice guy. I know he's busy. So, but yeah, he's from Boron, right? That's he grew up
Yeah,
there.
graduated from Boron High.
His father was the local dentist.
The only dentist.
It's my understanding, like dentist is the one occupation that's hated more than anything in the world. They people are more angry at dentists than anything else.
That and attorneys.
Yes. Other than that, I have really nothing else. I'll take concerns though. Questions? I see your ears burning, Jack. Gene, I apologize. You sent me an email about the parade tomorrow, right?
I did not.
You did not? Someone sent me an email about the parade tomorrow. I'll have 2 deputies here. One of them will
I know
be.
I emailed you.
What? Okay.
Probably, yeah.
Or do we talk on the phone?
On email.
Email?
Yeah.
I apologize, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have 2 deputies here. I'll have a senior deputy and I'll have a patrol guy, and their focus will be on safety and security. Because of recent events and just the way the world's getting crazy, I want them focused strictly on public safety. I'd love to have someone at the front of that parade, but the reality is if he's at the front of the parade, he's not going to be able to look for people losing their mind and driving into a crowd. So that's really where the concern is with that.
Well, we get that because, was it last year, the Christmas parade, I believe?
Yes, sir.
And it wasn't your guys' fault, it was just lack of communication on everybody's part, so it didn't come together like it should have, and we didn't have the security we needed, and ended up being a kid running around with a knife trying to, and there was
Absolutely.
nobody around to address the issue.
Right.
you
Not
know?
only that, but I have people lining up at like 7 in the morning till, when is it, 10? When it's
Yeah,
start
10.
time? From 7 to 10, I'm doing nothing but fighting cars coming through the street when people are on the street.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to direct the parade while I'm also playing security guard, and both at the end streets and side streets that come up.
Right. Absolutely.
So, yeah, if you got a guy who's looking out, that'll help.
And, parades are a huge liability and a huge concern, but the reality is we need those parades.
Yeah.
Last year, I got to be in the parade with my dog, Egg Roll, and I loved it.
It's great, right?
So yeah, they hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah,
So,
we just gotta keep that traffic from 20th up Orange off.
right. It's my understanding Search and Rescue is gonna assist with blocking traffic and barriers, and really they're gonna be the one that's instrumental in that, so.
Now, as we're building up our ranks out here,
Yes, sir.
is there any chance, I had a conversation with the sheriff on this, and his concern would be having the deputies. Once we get fully staffed out here, can we get some community service officers and some park rangers to assist out here? Is that a possibility down the line?
I cannot make any promises on behalf of the county, but I will tell you right now, the minute we get inside that building,
Oh, yeah.
we will take this town back.
Yeah.
Because it used to be in 2008 when I was a deputy out here, at nighttime, we would walk up and down the street on Diamond, desert. You wouldn't see anyone walking around except for deputy sheriffs, because we did foot patrol back then. We had time to do that. We had bicycles. We used to ride up and down alleys. But as staffing changed and, finances and stuff like that, we lost a lot of that. So with Measure K, we're going back in the right direction.
Because I think one of the, like I said, with the community service officers, I think one of the biggest complaints that I hear, and you guys are busy, if something got burglarized or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
you have to get online and do your own report. If they had somebody come over, I think people would feel more county love if somebody showed up at their house and was able to take a report.
100%. I agree with you, and that's what I want. Because I look at the call logs and I see how many people call and I see how many deputies respond. And if you think about a residential burglary, or the one that really gets me is vehicle theft. A vehicle, for a lot of people, is the most expensive thing they will ever buy.
Or the only thing.
Well, and we're getting to a point, some people can't afford to buy houses anymore, including myself. But so for a lot of people, that car is the most expensive thing, and the house definitely the most expensive thing. We should be able to get a cop to show up.
I'm selling mine
But-
in spring and be down the street from another deputy.
But the reality is, so like tonight, I have one sergeant, one senior, and 3 patrol guys for Tehachapi, Roseman, Mojave, and Bourne.
Right.
There are people's houses getting broken into that they're waiting for a deputy to show up. But the reality is, I need that deputy to handle the domestic violence call that he's en route to more than.
Right, no, that's why I was asking about the CSO.
Yeah.
They can take the
Yeah.
reports and stuff like that. If anybody showed up, I think people would be happy.
That's
and,
true.
And we free up the deputies for non-violent calls, non-in-progress calls, and have somebody come out and take a report.
I did not think about that specifically for this area, but that's something I can bring back to my boss and talk about.
That'd be great for like vandalism or.
But the thing about the CSO though is the most dangerous thing we could do is put an unarmed person that's wearing a deputy uniform in a town doing no call for service when there ain't no deputy around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once we get up to staffing,
Right.
And you guys are back here in town. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I remember when I was younger, I lived in Burbank.
Okay.
Very well policed town. I ended up volunteering to help out in the office. They actually had 100 sworn officers. This was 1980, 81, and they had 200 reservists. Is there a program like that in Kern County, or is that one of those things that's kind of gone the way of the dodo bird in California?
So,
Yes.
what we
And
used to
very
do,
difficult.
no, you're right. Before Measure K, people used to complain to me about there's not enough cops in this town, not enough cops, not enough cops. I had a big old stack of applications to be a reserve deputy, a volunteer, or a deputy sheriff. No one ever picked them up and took them. If anyone here wants to be a deputy sheriff or a reserve deputy, that's still there.
Okay, it's still.
But I think there's some fear behind it.
No, what the problem was, is I was a reserve here for 13 years. I did carry 2 badges, one with LA County and one with Kern County. And I was told to either keep the job that paid or keep the job that didn't pay. So what the reserves organization they did themselves in. They wanted the additional training. So the state got together and said, hey, in order to be reserved, you have to have the same training as a deputy sheriff.
Right.
So if you're gonna go through all that training, why do you want to do it for free?
Right.
And so that is why there's no reserves anymore, is you have to go through the exact same training as a deputy, the same academy, same everything, just to do it for free. And if you're gonna put that much effort into it, you might as well go do it for money.
All right, I'm gonna stop you real quick. I have used the reserve thing as a recruiting tool. I have personally gone out, find myself a young adult or middle-aged adult and say, hey, look, you're tired about crime in this place, you got a real job, I understand. You can't quit to work as a deputy sheriff and make hardly anything, but if you wanna make a difference, be a reserve. And I've actually had people do it.
Yeah,
Few of them.
Few.
So it's still a great, meaningful thing. If you want to be a reserve deputy, that's still a great, meaningful thing. Very rewarding career, and if you're relatively healthy, you can do a ride-along every Saturday night with a deputy sheriff, and you are, for all intents and purposes, a deputy sheriff, and just go out and have fun.
I'll throw this out there too. Cal City has Saracosa has a great program. I think it's up in Tehachapi, where it's broken up into modules, where you get the exact same training, but you go Tuesday night, Thursday night, and all day Saturdays, and they do it in blocks and modules. And once you do the 3 modules, I think it's still the 3 modules, you have the exact same training as a regular deputy, but you're not going full time, and you're just going 4 hours, I think Tuesday, 4 hours Thursday, and all day Saturday, for a few months at a time. So
With Measure K, we were able to get one of our reserve deputies and turn him into a full sworn employee. He lived in Tehachapi, worked out in Roseman and Lancaster, and he went to Saracoso and did the Monday and Wednesday night, and then like the Tuesday and Thursday night. And now he's one of our full-time employees. So, and I have plenty of recruiting stickers in my car if anyone wants to be a reserve deputy. I will put you to work in a heartbeat. Yes, ma'am.
What is the age range that you can be like?
This is California. I don't think we could restrict someone's age range. It's can you get over a wall? Can you get over the wall? Can you do the run? And can you make it through the academy?
How big is the wall?
I don't know. 6 feet? 6 feet. That's easy.
6 feet.
If I could hop over it, you could hop over it.
That's just when you get up, once you got over.
Well, that's the thing about the wall, right? You got to run to the wall, get over it, and then run all the way back around. So, if you want anything enough, you'll make it work. So. Any other questions? This is like your free opportunity to take a jab at the sheriff's office. You know?
I'm just curious, what direction is CCW going in Kern County?
What's your question? Raise your voice.
He asked what direction the CCWs are going in this county.
CCW?
That's the, you're right. Yes. I have not heard anything saying that there's going to be any changes. However, that's strictly a legislative issue.
I was kind of curious if anything come down,
I haven't heard anything about it. It's still the same process.
still shot covered.
So, well, actually, were they trying to, I heard they were trying to pass some stuff like you can't be within a mile of a bar or something like that. Is there any truth to that rumor?
Yeah, they passed a whole bunch of.
They passed.
Our school.
But the opponents of this legislation, I promised judicial review.
Oh,
So
okay.
in a lot of ways, it doesn't make sense. It's either you carry or not.
Right.
Yeah.
How would a
can't
cop
be-
enforce that?
Yeah, 'cause you
Exactly.
can't go in
And
the
what if
public
you're driving
building,
by a
all this
place
kind of stuff,
and you
yeah.
get pulled over and they say, well, you're within a certain amount of distance.
Right.
If you're thinking about it, I would tell you to do it real quick, because we have counties like Kern that are pro Second Amendment, and the governor's trying to take that power away from the sheriffs, and he wants to control who gets CCWs in the state. So before he gets his way, I would get grandfathered in and get it. I wouldn't wait.
That's what I'm thinking before we go clear.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lieutenant Lackey, for coming out.
I'll stick around for the rest of the meeting if anyone has any questions.
All right, that pretty much wraps up our meeting. The only new business, and something that's near and dear to me that we were going to discuss and vote on tonight, is I'm a firm believer in our young people. They're our future. They're our future leaders. So we are going to vote and talk about, hopefully at our next meeting and pass, adding a student advisor to our council. Get their input, what they want to see, what direction they want to see our community go. So that will be on our agenda for next month, and hopefully get that passed. And we'll work with the school board to have them appoint a student advisor for us. And that way we can learn from them, they can learn from us. So thank you for everybody. Sir.
How sure are you that you can find one young person that would represent the needs of young persons, young people that vote?
I'm pretty confident.
It'd be no
The
different
school
than
board
anything
has
else.
a student advisor that's working out good. It'll be up to them. I'll let the school choose how they want to choose the person that wants to represent, but it's got to be somebody who wants to do it and feels passionate about it. So, because right now we don't have any. We're kind of pushing our future and our vision on the community without kind of getting their input. And there's other ways of doing things, other ways to think things out. It'd be nice to hear what they think and how they think we should go.
Yeah, there's a lot of good kids out there. I mean, they really are. You just don't hear about it.
Yeah.
You only hear about the bad ones. So there's a ton of Rosewood High School who are really passionate about what they do. Cadet Corps members and other clubs like that. There's a lot of good ones. You just hear about the bad ones. That's the problem.
Hey, one question I was gonna ask you guys, who did we talk to? The My Turn app is a great tool, but it finally got picked up. I was trying to get on the My Turn, there was a refrigerator that was done over the, not an address. I was trying to drop the pin, and it would not let me do it without an address. Is there?
I can get you in contact with the person that really knows that app.
Okay.
They're still working on something as far as, there's some modules in there where it'll actually take you to certain departments. Code compliance isn't working, but nonetheless, you can put in a complaint, and we do it manually, do it personally. So I'll have some reach out.
Okay, perfect. Now that's, and like I said, if you see something, you know, say something, report it. I was, before I got on Rmac and involved, I kind of thought we got shortchanged out here, but come to find out, nobody was ever asking for anything. And every Public Works, you guys have been great. Every time we come with a complaint, it gets taken care of quick. So, you know, if you see, we had an issue with tumbleweeds all over the sidewalk. Kids were having to walk in the street to get to school. I think within a week of reporting it, it was done. So if you see something, report it. That's the only way we're gonna keep the town clean, is we each take responsibility. If you see something, say something.
And I'm willing to give you my card. It has my cell phone number and my email address on it, if you don't already have that information, and I can report it directly.
24 hours a day, right?
I make no promises.
If she answers.
All right, hey, thank you guys for coming out today. Not anything else?
Yeah.
Adjourn.
Yeah.